Why humans started smoking long before civilization. Imagine sitting beside a fire 0 years ago. No cities, no money, no jobs, no screens, just darkness. A few people you trust, and the crackling sound of burning wood. Now imagine something strange happens. A plant catches fire. The smoke drifts toward your face. You breathe it in, and suddenly you feel different. Maybe calmer, maybe lighter, maybe connected to something bigger than yourself. That moment may have changed human history forever. Because smoking did not begin with cigarettes. It did not begin with tobacco companies. And it may not have even begun with agriculture. In fact, the roots of smoking might be older than civilization itself. And the reason why it tells us something deeply unsettling about the human brain. To understand smoking, we have to start with fire. Long before modern humans built cities, our ancestors were gathering around controlled fires. Archaeological evidence suggests that some human ancestors were using fire hundreds of thousands of years ago. Fire gave warmth, protection, cooked food, longer evenings. But it also gave something else, smoke. Every day, humans sat around fires, breathing it in. Not occasionally, constantly, for generation after generation. Most of the time, it was probably just wood smoke, but not always. Sometimes plants burned, and some plants contain chemicals that interact directly with the nervous system. Certain herbs release compounds that affect mood, perception, and awareness when inhaled. Imagine discovering that by accident, one evening feels different. The next time you burn the same plant, the feeling returns. Then somebody notices. Then somebody remembers. Then somebody teaches their children. That is how many human traditions begin. Not through science, through experience. And here's where the story becomes fascinating. Humans are not the only animals that seek altered states. Elephants have been observed eating fermented fruit. Some animals deliberately consume naturally intoxicating substances. Across nature, there seems to be a recurring pattern. Creatures occasionally seek experiences that change how they feel. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What if the desire to alter consciousness is not a cultural invention? What if it's part of being human? Some researchers have proposed exactly that. The idea is sometimes called the intoxication hypothesis. The theory suggests that seeking altered states may be a fundamental drive, deeply connected to curiosity, learning, social bonding, and exploration. Not because humans are broken, because humans are human. Think about what life was actually like for ancient people. Danger was everywhere. Predators, injury, starvation, loss, death. Daily existence was uncertain. In that world, any ritual that reduced fear or strengthened social bonds had enormous value. And smoke may have done both. Imagine a small group gathered inside a cave, everyone breathing the same smoke, everyone sharing the same experience, everyone feeling connected. Modern neuroscience shows that shared rituals can strengthen trust and group identity. Ancient people didn't know neuroscience, but they knew what worked. If a behavior helped a tribe stay together, it survived, and smoking may have been one of those behaviors. But here's something most people never think about. Smoking was not always recreational. For much of history, it was medicine. Ancient medical traditions across multiple civilizations use inhaled herbs to treat different conditions, from respiratory problems to spiritual rituals. Smoke was often viewed as a tool rather than a habit. Today, that sounds strange. We associate smoking with disease. Ancient people associated it with healing. Same behavior, completely different meaning. And meaning matters a lot because humans rarely become attached to substances alone. We become attached to what those substances represent. Connection, relief, identity, belonging. This pattern appears again and again throughout history. And then something changed. The industrial world arrived. What had once been ritual became routine. What had once been occasional became constant. What had once been communal became commercial. For thousands of years, people interacted with smoke through ceremony, medicine, and tradition. Then modern industries learned how to package it, scale it, sell it, optimize it. Suddenly, an ancient human behavior became a global business. The result was one of the largest public health disasters in history. But the deeper question remains, why were humans drawn to smoke in the first place? The answer may have less to do with tobacco and more to do with the ancient brain sitting inside your skull right now. Your brain evolved in a world where novelty mattered. Curiosity mattered. Exploration mattered. Finding new experiences often led to new knowledge, new resources, new opportunities. The same curiosity that helped ancient humans discover useful plants may be the same curiosity that drives people today. Different environment, same brain. That's the strange thing about being human. Modern life feels new, but many of our behaviors are ancient. The technology's changed. The instincts did not. When we look at smoking through that lens, it stops being just a story about tobacco. It becomes a story about curiosity, about altered states, about rituals, about the endless human desire to feel something different than we felt yesterday. And maybe that's why the story stretches so far into the past. Because before smoking was a product, before it was an industry, before it was even a tradition, it was simply a human being noticing that a plant could change the way they experienced the world. And once that discovery was made, it was never forgotten. Thousands of years later, we are still living with the consequences. The smoke changed. The rituals changed. The reasons changed. But the impulse remained. Because beneath modern society, beneath technology, beneath civilization itself, the ancient mind is still there, watching, experimenting, breathing, and remembering. Your brain remembers more than you think. If you enjoyed this exploration into the strange psychology of ancient humans, subscribe to Primitive Mind for more stories hiding inside the human past.